on it. Okay, you're live now.
Lovely. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the first ever virtual Highters Heath Ward Forum meeting. I'm Councillor Adam Higgs and I will be chairing the meeting tonight. I will be assisted by Kay Thomas from the Council's neighbourhood team. For obvious reasons, we can't hold this at our normal venue in Warstock Community Centre, but a number of other wards across the city have trialled virtual meetings and I understand they've been successful. And I think the time is right for us to do the same in Highters Heath and obviously discuss the issues that matter to all of us in the local community. So, as I say, we'll be running through the agenda tonight as best as we can. As I say, it will be slightly different. Please use the question and answer facility to ask any questions that you have and we will try to answer them. If we are unable to answer them during the meeting, we will come back to you outside of the meeting if you leave your email address. Please be patient and bear with us as we learn together. The code of conduct for the meeting was sent out with the invite and the agenda, and I must advise you that the meeting is being recorded and will be available for future viewing via the Council's YouTube channel. And with that out of the way, we move to the first item on the agenda, a COVID update from Dino Motti, the Public Health Registrar. So Dino, if you, the floor is yours, if you just want to provide us with a brief update and then we can open things up to a question and answer session.
Absolutely, thank you, Councillor. In Birmingham, the rates are coming down, like in the rest of the nation. They are currently 291 per 100,000 population, and this is compared to what the rates were in the previous week, which was 393. So that shows a constant decline. Obviously, the peak that we encountered in this wave was pretty high, so it will take a little bit of time to come down. But on average, in terms of 7-day rolling cases, we are the 10th highest in England, and this is comparing all the upper tier local authorities. The spread and the communication of the virus seems to be primarily occurring through household and social interactions, which is obviously an effect of the lockdown. People are spending time indoors at home. Hospital admissions have been ranging between 52 and 100 new cases a day at University Hospital Birmingham, and this is again for the period between the 30th and the 5th. So these data are reported obviously in different time scales. Focusing more on Highters Heath Ward, it ranks 63rd out of 69 in Birmingham for absolute number of COVID cases. And in terms of rates, it has a rate of 1.95. That basically means that it's the 59th out of 69, so the rate is quite low. The average for Birmingham is 3 cases per 1,000 population. In general, we are noticing a decline in rates, and the percentage of cases at this stage seems to be concentrated between, I mean, the biggest group is the 20 to 39. The second biggest group in terms of age groups is 40 to 59. So working age people and younger people. Younger children and older people seem to have a lower representative percentage per age group in terms of COVID at the moment. I also would like obviously to send a message. Nothing has changed at the moment. We're still recommending hands, face, space. We all are in lockdown, and at the moment we are succeeding in bringing down the rate. This is a success. Vaccinations in Birmingham are proceeding very well. We have vaccinated, I just heard from a colleague that is delivering the vaccination himself and is working for the CCG. We have delivered 175,000 vaccinations in Birmingham, and especially among the most vulnerable, who are the residents of nursing home, there is almost 100% coverage of nursing homes in Birmingham. And that is very good news. The progress will be felt very soon in terms of vaccination, and one of the reasons why numbers are coming down in terms of hospitalization is also due to that. I would like to reiterate the importance of testing, regular testing for those of you that work and that can be tested regularly is very important. We have spread around the whole of Birmingham a large number of lateral flow testing facilities, which allow those of you who do not display symptoms to be tested regularly to identify asymptomatic cases. And the council has also put in place a system to report workplaces that do not keep people COVID safe. And this is an anonymous system that allows you to report this situation through the council website. Businesses with more than 50 staff, that is something that I would like to also remind, can register for lateral flow testing directly. And that is that testing that I discussed before that allows for testing of asymptomatic cases. And this is it for my update. If there are any questions, I would be very happy to receive them.
Okay, thank you for that, Dino. Normally you would get a round of applause in if this meeting was being held in the community centre, but obviously it's a little difficult to do that.
Even an applause
over the internet. I will give you, as I say, I'm sure everyone's clapping at home, but it's a little difficult to do online. I don't see anyone asking any questions so far, but I'll give it a moment. As I say, if anyone wants to ask a question, they just need to write it in the question box, and that will filter on to us. As I say, if you have any questions, now's the time to do it. Otherwise, we shall move on to the next topic on the agenda. No, I don't think anyone has any questions to ask. If any, I think we'll let you go now, Dino. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much.
If anyone wants to ask any questions relating to COVID-19, feel free to do so, and I'm sure we can pass them on to Dino or Justin Varney to answer at a later time.
Absolutely.
But Dino, thank you for your time anyway.
Thank you, Councillor. Thank you, everyone. And as you said, there is always a way to ask these questions through email, and we'll reply to any specific one. Thank you, and everyone, have a good evening.
Thank you very much. We now move on to the next item on the agenda, Census 2021. I don't believe Alison Brinkworth is in the meeting, but she has provided me with a statement that she has asked me to read out. If Kay could also put her contact details in the chat, so if anyone has any questions, those can be they can forward those on to Alison. So I will just get the statement. As I say, Alison is the coordinator for South Birmingham, and of course with the census approaching, it's something that she has asked me to discuss, which I'm happy to do so. So the statement that she has asked me to read is, this is the year of the census, with Census Day on March 21st. The nationwide survey only happens every 10 years, but is important to take part because it helps decide how services are planned and funded in your local area, from doctor's surgeries to bus routes. It gives us the most detailed information we have about our society, and getting accurate data is important to help millions of pounds be invested where it needs to go. It even helps charities and voluntary organisations support their funding applications. Every household will receive a letter from early March with an outline code allowing them to take part online, as it is primarily digital, but people will get details on how to request a paper copy if needed. There will be language, digital and accessibility support available for everyone who needs it through the census support centres, phone lines and online help. The census engagement manager, for South Birmingham, as I said, is Alison Brinkworth, and she wants to hear from anyone who can help promote useful information about the census within the community, such as on the Facebook page, in a newsletter, or if your job involves reaching the elderly or those without internet access. She has posters and leaflets in a variety of languages to send out and social media messages that are ready to be used. Alison can also do talks to explain more to groups of people too about how the census makes a difference to everyone's life, and is the go-to person to arrange extra support for your community to fill out the census. So her email is alison.brinkworth86@field.census.gov.uk, or you can call her on 07452 934 883. I believe Kay will put that in the chat later on if anyone has any questions they want to ask Alison about the census. And with that, we move on to a highways update from Stuart Cross from Kier. Now, Stuart has attended a number of our ward meetings over the last couple of years or so. You may remember him that he used to be with Amy, but as I say, he now has a new hat and works for Kier. I'm sure he will go into a little bit of discussion on the changes that have happened since our last meeting, because I believe that the last meeting you did work for Amy Stewart, and now you've moved on to Kier. So perhaps if you can give us a little update on that and general highways update, and then we can move on to questions and answers.
Yeah, sure. Councillor, yeah, obviously fun to be invited to begin with. Yep, so Stuart Cross, Highway Steward for Kier. Kier of the Highways principal provider on an interim basis now, and that's going to be on initially till June, with potentially on to next year as well. So our remit, as Councillor mentioned, it's obviously highways. That's our main objective. So we maintain the highway. We're doing lots of streams at the moment of resurfacing and footway streams throughout the city. And we also deal with street lighting, tree planting, retreatment, and the drainage issues as well. So that's the main remit. At the moment, it's quite a busy time for our emergency teams at the moment due to the weather we've got at the moment. So you will see, unfortunately, a lot more potholes opening up at the moment. So we have about 8 teams on standby throughout the city, and their main objective at the moment is going out, filling those larger potholes with the full repairs to follow. So if anyone does have any issues that they need to report, if you go to birmingham.gov.uk, you'll be able to report it on there, and you'll have a team on site dependent on severity within 2 hours, or will be with one of my inspectors within 2 days, dependent on the issue. We have got some upcoming streams in your areas. So in the spring, we've got some resurfacing of the footways on the Woodleys. We're on there for, let's have a quick look. Yep, on there for 17 days to the whole footway sections down there. And also in May, we're on West Croft Way doing the carriageways, and that's going to be over a week's work as well. So yeah, there are some more streams in the pipeline at the moment which are yet to be announced, but hopefully be able to announce those soon. But yeah, so obviously working with a councillor, we have regular, not at the moment, obviously we did have regular site meetings. So yeah, that's kind of what we do. So any questions? Obviously, if you put me in the chat box, and
yes, if anyone, thank you for that, Stuart. If you have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat box. There was someone who did express an interest in asking a question. I don't know if they are on the chat on the session at the moment to ask that question, but not a problem if they're not. Of course, as I say, if anyone thinks of a question after Stuart has gone, I can always pass that on to him. That won't be a problem at all. I don't see anyone with any questions, so
well, if you like, Councillor, I can wait for 10 minutes. I like to listen to everything else that's going on, so I'll hand around in the background. That's no problem.
Yes, of course, that would be great. As I say, we'll move on to the next item now, which is any other business. Now, as I say, I believe Sergeant Ogden is in the meeting to provide a policing update. He isn't able to actually speak. However, he is able to answer any questions that people might have in the chat. I have been given a statement which he has asked me to read out, which I'm more than happy to do so. He says the local Bilsey team is led by Sergeant Ogden with 5 PCs and 4 PCSOs. PCSO Ayres is leaving his role at the end of the week as a community officer to join West Midlands Police as a PC, and I think we can all wish him well for the future in that. I know he's worked very hard in Bilsey and Highters Heath over the last year, so we wish him well. The local priorities of the neighbourhood team have been coronavirus and domestic abuse. So with a little bit more detail in that, with COVID, some local reports of coronavirus breaches that are followed up. But overall, no major issues for the area compared to other larger breaches that are reported across the city. Local officers continue to take action and will carry out the 4E approach to any concerns: engage, encourage, explain, and finally enforce. There is also the domestic abuse aspect. One of the sad aspects of a lockdown and the pandemic has been, while some crimes have gone down, the rate of some crimes have gone down, others have gone up, and one of those has been domestic abuse. And Neil has said that their role is to attend quickly, investigate and take action. Local officers are involved in the early arrest of suspects, and lots of support is available for persons suffering domestic violence. And local concerns, and again I would agree with what Neil has said on this one. The 3 main concerns at the moment are drugs, speeding and graffiti. And relating to drugs, Neil has said we receive reports of drugs, whether that be smells or drug activity. Intelligence is developed and warrants are properly executed, regularly executed. Recent examples have been publicised on Twitter, for example Pendine Road and Ibberton Road, where cannabis setups were found. Any more intel, please call in confidence via Crime Stoppers on 0800 555 111. That's 0800 555 111. In relation to speeding, reports have been received due to coronavirus. They have not undertaken as many speeding operations as they would have liked, but they are looking to reinstigate that over the next few months. And I know they've been working very hard on that, tackling speeding in some of the hotspots like Maypole Lane, for example, and Warstock Road. I've had the chance to join them when coronavirus restrictions were a bit looser, and it was a very productive session, and I very much hope that I can join them again in the near future. The next issue is graffiti, and I've noticed this myself and of course reported a number of issues with graffiti wherever it's arisen. There's a lot around School Road. I know the police themselves have cleaned off some of the graffiti at Christchurch. I've also reported graffiti on the bridge over the canal on School Road, where that was particularly bad, but it's all been cleaned up by the council now, so that's been resolved, although there is still more that needs to be cleared off, and the police are obviously asking who is responsible. And if you have any information, please drop us a line. And I believe that's it. No, wait, there is a bit more. There's just a bit of news that they've asked me to share. They've arrested 4 people breaking into buildings on Warstock Lane. They've arrested 3 persons on Priory Road for burglary, and they've also arrested 1 person last week following an incident on Ravenshill Road. Lots of stolen vehicles are being found. If people see a car and think it's unusual and not been seen in the area before, then please call 101 on that one. I know there's been lots of concerns over cars being stolen over the last few weeks, and I know the police are working hard on that one. And I think that's everything. I don't know if anyone has any questions that they would like to ask Neil. He, as I say, I've been asked to read a statement, but he is around and in the chat, so he is able to respond to questions that anyone has either now or in the next few minutes. I don't think we have any questions. Of course, with any other business, people have the opportunity to raise any local issues that they want me or the police or Stuart to look into. So again, if you have any issues that you'd like to raise, please feel free to put them into the chat or email them to me, adam.higgs@birmingham.gov.uk, or you can call me on 075 48 122 176. I will put that again in the chat for anyone who wants to contact me on any issue that they feel is important and needs looking into.
Councillor Higgs, it's Kay. There isn't a question for the police, but there is a question from Muriel asking if we can have a visit to the green on Prince of Wales Lane to discuss erosion to the green.
Yes.
Is that a question for Stuart? I'm not sure if that's a question for Stuart or you.
That is a question for Stuart. Stuart, I don't know if lockdown restrictions mean you can't do that at the moment, but are you able to pay Muriel a visit?
Yeah, sure.
At some point. Okay, that's good. Muriel, if you can hear this, I will I'll help you get something set up and liaise with you and Stuart on that one. So leave it with me, and I'll contact you both behind the scenes on that one.
I did actually just quite fortuitously. I was there today actually. We did raise some letters, some advisory letters to certain properties towards the junction with. Is it Yardley Road? Is it? Oh yeah, towards the junction anyway, where people are driving over grass verges, damaging the footway illegally. So some letters have been arranged to be sent today, but obviously I'm more than happy to meet Muriel anyway. That's no problem at all.
Yeah, that's great. Muriel, I'll set something up behind the scenes, and Stuart has Neil has put something up for the police's local neighbourhood team email. So as I say, any issues, please email billsley@west-midlands.pnn.police.uk, and that will go through to Sergeant Ogden. I don't know if we have any further questions. Let me just take a look. No, I think that's it. I think, well, we have got to the agenda in record time actually. Normally these meetings go on for a lot longer, but as I say, I think it's just a case of it's more easier to have longer discussions in person. But as I say, I don't think we can, well, we definitely can't do that at the moment. I'll give anyone else, if anyone wants to ask any other questions or anything at all, do put it in the chat or email me. As I say, I've put my contact details in the chat. But other than that, I think we are actually at the end of the meeting in record time, unless if anyone has anything else that they want to raise, but I'm not seeing anything. So I think we will draw this meeting to a conclusion. So to all those who've attended, thank you very much for coming. I hope you found it useful and informative. As I say, I'm very much hopeful that we can do something like this again in the future. I very much hope also that once restrictions are loosened and we've beaten coronavirus, we can actually get back to holding physical meetings again at Warstock Community Centre, because I know those are really productive and useful. But in the meantime, we have to make do with what we have. And I think that's it. Thank you very much for coming, and have a good evening.
Thanks, Councillor Higgs.